Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls around the world. Is it is once again time for the WADcast, the Writers, Actors, Directors podcast, episode number 86. I am one of your hosts, Josh, joined as always by the demon from the left coast, Brandon.
Hi. The demon. Oh, damn. I'm just sick, dude. That's all I am. I'm not a demon. Yeah. Well, hi, everybody. Happy Good Friday. Soon to be Zombie Jesus Day. So, hope you guys are all gearing up to, look for those Easter eggs that, because dyed eggs hidden by fictitious bunnies, all part of, the legend of Jesus rising from the pits of hell and ascending to heaven.
Is that really how it goes?
You know what? I'm a bad Christian. It's been so long since Sunday school. It's been a long time since I taught Vacation Bible School. Funny enough, I actually taught Vacation Bible School. But yeah, it's like, what was it? He died, he went to hell, and he ascended to heaven afterwards. But in the spirit of the Dead Rising, I currently have Ghostbusters Afterlife playing right now. And Josh, you and I have spoken about this, and initially we had a different idea for tonight's episode.
Mm-hmm.
But regardless, ladies and gentlemen, at the end of this episode, we are going to have a giveaway for a digital code. And this digital code will be posted on the Facebook page. And it's going to be for Ghostbusters Afterlife. Because what is more Christian than a movie about the dead rising?
That is a good point. Especially on this, the holiest of weekends.
I guess.
I'm not, well caught up in the lore.
Yeah, I mean, it's Good Friday. I'm sick, so I don't know what's so good about this shit. But, yay, Easter weekend.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and throw this disclaimer out there that any knocks that we make on the movies that we mentioned tonight are not going to be direct attacks on, any particular religion, especially Christian faith. But we will be... what's the word I'm looking for? Brutally relentless when it comes to specific movies. Again, attacking movies, not faith. I'm not saying, you have to separate the two, but you have to separate the two.
Can it be like a little bit of both, though? Because, I mean,
Hey, no, we are not here to make
I'm not bashing
struggle
people.
with their personal religious journeys. It's not, well, unless they're faithful to Zack Snyder, but that's a different story for a different holiday, I guess.
All right, fine. Can I kick it off then?
Go for it.
Great. Yeah, so first off, Kirk Cameron's horrible. Any movie he makes these days is so pretentious and self-righteous that it makes me want to have diarrhea. So I have some excuse to just get away from sitting down and watch the movie in case the remote breaks. Like, I'm willing to have diarrhea in case I cannot turn off the TV for whatever reason. But he has this movie, and it's not an Easter-related movie, although I'm sure there is one somewhere out there for him. But there's this movie that he made in 2014 called Saving Christmas. And if you could ever watch someone have their heads any further up their ass than Kirk Cameron does in this movie, I want to know that movie, because this movie is all about... If you look at the picture, Josh, if you can pull up a picture of the poster for this movie. I don't want to see this. God. Damn it. All right. You can't hear this audio, but pretty much what he's saying is, I'm Kirk Cameron. I will save my brother here from his lack of Christmas spirit. He sees no point in Christmas, so I'm going to ask him, why don't you love Christmas? Well, I'm going to listen to his explanation and tell him why he's wrong. Because I'm a good brother, and instead of meeting him halfway and understanding why it might be affecting him, I'm going to explain to him all the reasons as to why he's wrong, why Christmas is great, because it matters to me. Yeah, it's bad. And if you look at the poster for it, it's even more laughable because it's like a diehard ripoff poster. But this entire movie, Kirk Cameron is just going through the motions of showing his brother why Christmas is so magical and why it's so great and why it's God's key holiday and yada 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 yada. Now, listen, I'm not going to attack religion, but let's just be honest here. Christmas is a holiday that was created to convert pagans to Christianity. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it's not a real holiday to me. Christmas tree based on the Yuletide. Hey, Yule. There's so many pagan rituals in Christmas alone. Um, that you might as well just say you're Wiccan or you're pagan if you celebrate Christmas. I'm sorry, I'm not attacking. I'm not attacking it. You celebrate it, that's fine. Um, I think the Grinch had the right idea before he got all goody goody. But yeah, it's just like one of those deals where it's just like the whole movie is just so self righteous, and it's any Kirk Cameron movie that I can think of. And trust me, I've got a list right now. Like I'm looking at it right now, Kirk Cameron movies, because that's where most of them are. But it's just like it's such a pretentious film made by a very pretentious bastard of a human being. Like just if Waste of Space be thy name, it would be Kirk Cameron. That's mine.
Okay.
No offense to any Christians or Kirk Cameron fans. There we go. Got it.
It's funny that you're coming at this from a Kirk Cameron standpoint, maybe
Well,
because he is, one of the
well,
more notable players in that
it's
specific community.
it's not just that. It's Kirk Cameron. I mean, you can listen. You can make a movie and have it be a wonderful film.
Hmm.
You know. Now we talk. I know what we're talking about are like just like the kind of like the bad Christian films. So to counter my points, I will bring up a Christian film that I thought was incredibly well done. Even though it got all this flack in the world, but The Passion of the Christ. Now, yes, Mel Gibson's also a very pretentious person. I'm not going to like defend him against Kirk Cameron because they're both like Kirk Cameron. Like Mel Gibson's he's awful, but Passion of the Christ was, in my opinion, I enjoyed what he did. He could have made all the actors, just white people doing this shit, right? He could have just like whitened up the board all he wanted to. He could have gotten Ewan McGregor show up in like Jedi gear and be like, "You're Jesus." Instead, they got Jim Caviezel and they whipped the shit out of him in that movie. They tortured that man. It was so hard that a lot of like Bible thumping Christians were trying to get it pulled from theaters because it was Mel Gibson just torturing Jesus. Like, well, what do you celebrate? What do you worship? He died for your sins. There have been Christian films that have tried to live up to Passion of the Christ that just fall short.
Well, I don't have Mel Gibson money.
Noah had Mel Gibson money.
Yeah, that is yeah.
They had Mel Gibson money, and it just fell incredibly short.
Well, would you like to see what my addition to this conversation is first?
Go for it.
You know what? This week, I think we're going to do something a little different, and kind of we're going to go for ask for forgiveness rather than permission here, because I think this is something that Yeah, there's only one way to experience it, and it's just to experience it. So here we go.
He knows what you've done. That person you were before, that person has to die.
You are a good preacher and a good man. God will turn this around. You will see.
I know I'm not supposed to come here. I'm in trouble.
What's your name?
Tabitha.
This is new for both of us. You being a daughter, me a dad.
It's weird, right?
I'll never hurt you.
I've heard that before, you know.
Hey, what is this?
I missed you. Broke my heart when you left.
Don't touch me.
We must finish what we started.
No.
Tabitha, you won't get away with this. What, preacher? What are you gonna do?
Mr. Beckman. Welcome back.
Where is she?
This guy is serious. He's a real psychopath. I looked into it.
Pay close attention. My name is Aaron Beckman, the preacher. You ask around about me, and when you find out who I am, you let her go unharmed. It's your only chance to survive what's coming. I need an address and weapons.
You remember the rules, the price.
I'll pay it.
Reverend!
Remember who you are. Killing those men isn't gonna bring her back.
You have to let go. Give the Almighty control of your life. Nothing is gonna save you now. Not words, not money, not guns. You are a dead man.
If death is all you understand, then I will rain it down upon you.
If I let you leave, what will you do? I'm gonna finish what I started. That's what I'm gonna do.
So yeah, Beckman is a thing that exists.
By the way, hi mom. I saw your comment. Hi.
Yeah, it's a weird. Well, I mean, first of all, it's a blatant ripoff of several movies, right? You got a nice little Taken speech in there with some John Wick thrown in. It's stealing from the best.
Yep, he is coming to pray for your sins before he sends you to meet God.
And this is from Pureflix. I don't know if you've ever heard of that.
No, and I don't think I'm going to watch any of that shit.
It's a faith-based Netflix service.
No.
Yes.
No. Wow. Is it as good as Netflix?
Oh, that's a good question. And if you're familiar with Netflix, you should know that that's wow. Okay. I would say Netflix is 1,000 times more original.
Yeah.
With its content, especially.
It's so, I mean, listen, the thing is we always say on the show, like what you like. And we're all allowed to have bad taste. So if you want to watch Christian films and you're like, oh my God, I love these things. Great. Awesome. Go you. Just do me a favor. I had someone someone was trying to get me into watching Noah, actually. They tried to get me to watch Noah. And he was like, oh, you're going to love the ending. It's like, was there a flood? He was like, oh, you've seen it? No, I haven't seen it. I assume it's what's his face, Russell Crowe running around. God is talking to him and everything else, and Hermione is trying to rush animals onto the boat. And
wait, Emma Watson's in this?
Yeah, she's in it. Yeah, so they kind of whiten it up a little bit. Yeah, you have to have noticeable. You have to have A-list talent for these films, and of course, the A-list talent wants to get in these films because why not? It looks good. Oh my God, there's a movie about Jesus coming out. The movie about Noah.
It's gonna be the new Ben-Hur.
I want to see David and Goliath, but make it Rocky, where David has like a training montage, but it has to be like a religious hymn while he's
Simpsons
like
did it.
training. Well, Simpsons has done everything, but the thing is, like, you can have good faith-based movies, but it's when you get over the top cheesy that it's just oh god, what was it? Bulletproof. You ever hear that one?
Damon Wayans and Adam Sandler.
Nope. No, that's a good one. No,
Disneyland.
there's a movie called Bulletproof that came out like oh it wasn't it's more recent than I like to admit, but it's still like about like 10 some odd years old. Um so either way, in Bulletproof, it's a bunch of cops. They get into some kind of altercation with like a perp, and all of them are questioning their faith, and all of them are searching for God, and like all this stuff. It's you know, listen, my stepdad is retired law enforcement. Back to blue, that's fine, but keep your eye on them at all times. And this is a lesson coming from my stepfather. So if you think I hate the cops because I say that, here's my one per episode. Fuck off. But the thing is it's one of those deals where it's so back to bluish and it's so like praise Jesus-ish that it's just like it's over beyond campy and cheesy. Like questioning their existence, questioning their God, questioning like if this is the path that God set before them and everything else. It's just like it's so over the top. And please don't play a trailer for it. I had it. Thank you so much. I had to sit through this shit in the theater. Church youth group, yay! Even the kids in the church youth group wanted to go see. I forget what movie was playing. I think some action film. And I was like, let's go. Got up and walked out of a religious movie with a church youth group. Excuse me. And took him to go see his action movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just like, I'm the person that brought Dogma to a church youth group.
Buddy Christ.
And yep. Yeah, like I mean, it's just like I brought Dogma to a church youth group, and they had a great time. They loved it.
Got to keep the clergy on their toes.
But yeah. So that's pretty much.
Let's break it down. We're both writers. We both know how to break story. What are some of the just initial problematic elements of these movies? I think first, I'll go first here. The first problem I can think of when it comes to most faith-based films is every main character is on the same journey.
Yep.
For every movie. Crisis of faith, affirmation of faith, God fixes everything, credits.
Yeah. That's it.
I know Marvel gets criticized for telling the same story over and over again. But
Marvel is
literally
Marvel,
the same thing.
Well, Marvel is incomparable because Marvel is all about the hero's journey. But it's not just the movies; it's the comic books too.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's one issue of a comic book or if it's an entire series, like the Dark Phoenix saga. It's like that was the death of Superman. That was like not just that was multiple issues, but then you had the rise of the Supermen. And then you had the return of Superman. That was like one long storyline. But in that, you still had the characters; they each had their own, arc. Now with these, I would say they're overzealous. Like it's like they're borderline attempting to convert. Now you can entertain with these movies just fine. You can make an entertaining film, but it's when you're going to the limits to try to preach to everyone the entire time. The Book of Eli, I think, did a great job in being a religious film about a man carrying the very last Bible which of course you find out was written in Braille, across the country to like a place off of a place by the ocean, and where he wanted to spread this, save this Bible as it was the last one. He mentions he hears voices and everything else, and this voice is guiding him. This man is blind and he's a badass. Denzel Washington was an absolute badass in this movie. And you had Gary Oldman, who played the villain who wanted to use the Bible as a weapon, a way to control people, which, let's face it, happens all the time today. You have Joel Osteen. Well, any of those jackasses that make millions of dollars on those mega churches that preach the gospel. I think Kenneth Copeland, I think that's the psychopath's name. Josh, are you still in the show? There you are. Okay. Didn't know if you left me.
I was just focusing on you for a moment so you could.
Okay. Got you. Well, Kenneth Copeland, whatever the hell the guy's, the guy that looks like he's possessed all the time.
Uh-huh.
The one that bought Tyler Perry's private jets. These are the people that I would see being Gary Oldman in Book of Eli. The ones that wanted power, the ones that wanted to maintain their lavish lifestyles and live in their mansions. And in this case, in a post-apocalyptic setting, that's not the case, obviously. But having like an entire town worship them and praise them and fear them. That right there, there are stakes involved. There are multiple characters that have their arcs. Eli, spoiler alert, dies in the movie.
Oh,
he succumbs to his wounds. Now, although Book of Eli is not realistic because, a little history, my grandmother did Braille. She was in a Braille group. I watched Book of Eli, and she told me that it wasn't realistic because for him to have the entire Bible, to be able to recite the entire Bible as he did at the end of the movie, Braille takes up too much space. He would have had to have had, I think, well over 20 books in his possession to go through the whole thing. So, another spoiler alert, Book of Eli is full of shit. But basically, either way, it was a good movie. You can maintain that level of doubt. You can have that critique towards it and still enjoy it. The things that come out now, though, it's just like you can't really do that. It's a lot of these movies that come out now, the faith-based ones. Well, there's this one that was okay, but as always, there were no stakes. It was just God guiding this girl. I cannot remember the name of it. It came out 2010-ish, 2011. It's about a girl whose birth mother aborted her, and she survived the abortion. I remember even my father and his ex-wife getting excited about me going to see this movie with them. And as they're pulling out the driveway while I was over there helping out with some stuff, they asked me if I want to go see this movie that they've been talking about all week. And the only way I can remember this movie is is this about the girl that was a little abortion that survived? Not the most delicate way to put it. My dad cracked up. He was like, "Yeah, it's about the abortion that survived. Brenda, you coming or not?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm curious." Went. It was an okay movie. It really was. It just a lot of these movies. Hey, we have a promoter. Hey, Josh, do you want to feel more popular? Keep the promo code GVP-A2JM-9G3K-H2H2 for 10 free views a day. Promotions, rank system, nice prices, and more. Google us. Get Viewers Pro. If you want to give up ad, okay, write us and we will turn it off. Okay. I thought that was actually going to be something of substance there. I think this is God's way of saying he's angry at me.
We welcome the bots to our show.
We're getting spam.
Hey, at least it's something that wants to promote us.
Listen,
the movie potluck, when we do the movie potluck every Thursday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, the bots that show up there are all porn related. So this is kind of a step up.
Okay, well, listen, bots, please get lost. Okay, go in peace. Like, see, I even
And
did the whole
also
thing. I
with
did the
you.
whole thing that you're supposed to do. Yeah, peace be with you, but not with you, dude. Like, but no, it's like the movies, like you said, they have no stakes. There's no risk of any major failure in most of these Christian movies. Okay, let's go back to like Kirk Cameron, Left Behind, and there's a damn sequel to this shitty movie.
There should
It's
have been
about a
8
pilot,
sequels.
huh?
There should have been 8 sequels.
It should have been never happened. But then we got Nick Cage trying to be Nick Cage, and Nick Caging up a remake of Left Behind a few years after it came out.
Which is
But
weird.
yeah, I know.
Let me talk on this real quick because I am somewhat of an expert.
Okay.
Yes, I read the books
Oh,
back
wait.
in the day once they when they were popular, you know, because I'm a fan of serialized storytelling, especially in novel form. Hence, a whole row of books based on one series behind me. And when I read the books, it's funny because one of my more Christiany friends' parents, right? They were like, "You know, that's fiction, right?" And I'm like,
No.
yeah, I'm pretty sure the rapture hasn't happened yet. So,
I wish.
yeah, yeah, oh, yeah, yeah. I know this is a thing. So, getting criticized by church people about reading the series because it doesn't follow what they believe. And that's another story for a different time. But the fact of the matter was, when I heard that there was going to be a Left Behind movie, I was like, okay, you know, I'm digging the books. I'm not necessarily buying into the, you know, non-fictional aspect as some people tried to put that spin on it, you know, because Jesus books, right?
Yep.
But you know, a good story is a good story. It doesn't matter what the premise is. If it's a good story,
Yeah.
it's fine. But then I heard that their marketing strategy, which was so weird, they said, okay, this is how we're going to do this movie. We're going to release it on home video first. It's like, okay.
You're talking about the Nick Cage version.
No, the Kirk Cameron version.
Oh.
They said, we're going to release it on a home video first. I'm like, oh, well, it stars Kirk Cameron. I imagine that's where it's going to start and stop. But then they said, and then we're going to release it in theaters. So
limited release.
All of the faithful, you know, will, you know, word of mouth get out that this movie's good. So they'll tell their non-religious friends that we have to go see this in the theaters when it's widely released. Because that's how it works.
Yeah, that's how you get anyone into cults.
First sample's free, man. And what had happened was it was released on a home video, and then it was released in theaters. And then, of course, did it make money in theaters?
No.
Of course not, because it was already released on video.
Yeah, it's like, no, it backfired monumentally, and that shows like how dumb Kirk Cameron is. Because at that point they have a copy of it. It's not gonna be like, hey, I bought a DVD, guys. I bought a brand new or VHS tape, whatever. I bought it. We should all come over and just like watch this movie together. Wasn't that great? And then their friends stop returning their calls. Oh, it's coming out in theaters now, guys. Remember that awesome movie we went to go see? Get a whole group of people. We're going to go see it in the theaters. It's like, come on. How's that going to? It's like, can I just borrow your copy?
And they took away all the stuff that made it interesting in the books.
Well, no, it's just like more of Kirk Cameron. I've read the books too, and Kirk Cameron really hyped himself up in that movie a lot.
What really baffled me was the remake with Nicolas Cage. One, it starred Nicolas Cage, and we know that he's done some questionable things as far as quality over the years, but honestly, who hasn't, right? But this thing in particular, this faith-based movie about the rapture and how they're going to deal with fighting the Antichrist, and then when I watched it and realized, wait, none of that is in this movie.
Nope.
This is not really based on the book at all. It's more like Nicolas Cage is stuck on a plane while the rapture's happening. That is the beginning and end of it.
Yeah, that's the entire movie. That's it. Like, wasn't it him and his daughter that were stuck on Earth or something?
Yeah.
Like, his wife went to heaven, his son went to heaven, like everyone else went to heaven. It's just like him and his daughter. But you know what? I'm sure Kirk Cameron like jizzed his pants over that. Like, Nick Cage, I have a real actor that's going to be in my stuff. Awesome. Like, like, come on.
I want to see, out of the like 50 books that they wrote, how many of them actually got made into movies?
No idea. It's just like one of those deals. Though, it's just like I just picture Kirk Cameron patting himself on the back, saying, "I finally made it in Hollywood."
He
and it
made
flopped.
When his best friend was named Boner.
I'm just saying.
All right. Hold on. Let's see. The original series had 3 movies. Left Behind the movie, Left Behind 2, Tribulation Force, Left Behind, World at War. 2 out of those 3 were direct-to-video, the first one being direct-to-video, then theatrical. And then in 2014, it was rebooted. And this year, actually,
Oh,
there
God.
is
No,
a new
don't
Left
tell
Behind
me.
movie called Left Behind, Rise of the Antichrist, starring no
Nicolas Cage.
No Nicolas Cage. No Kirk Cameron.
Thank God.
It's starring Kevin Sorbo. One step forward, a million steps back.
Oh, God, Kevin. What's wrong with you? Well, I guess 300 was a long time ago.
I think I have to do this, so bear with me. Disappointed.
It's, I don't know. I mean, it's like you said, this is an attack on Christianity. No matter how much of a joke I think it is, I'm not going to disrespect someone based. Yeah, no matter no matter my thoughts on Christianity, I'm not going to attack someone else for being a Christian. If you have a belief, you know what? If you have that blind faith, I will say I envy you. I do. It has to be nice to have so much comfort in something and feel that much I guess assurance towards something that you have no idea if it's even remotely true, but you feel in your heart. I respect that. I do. What I don't respect is just the over preachiness of not the films or the TV shows. The people that make you try to make you watch them, like, oh, you have to go see this. Like, I don't. You're missing out. Like, I'm good. Well, come watch it with us. I'm all right. Well, if you don't watch it, you're going to hell. I'm like, how do you know you're not? Well, I watched this movie. I'm like, well,
if that's all it takes,
like,
I'm going to do what you did and actually throw I don't want to use the term good, but there's definitely a few faith-based movies that I have enjoyed over the years. This one in particular, I watched, I want to say it was last year during the movie a day thing that I was doing.
Yeah.
Remember, watch one movie every day. Finished up with like 372 movies on the year.
Nice. I wish.
The movie that I'm talking about is 2018's An Interview with God.
Oh, never even heard of it.
Directed by Perry Lang, starring Brenton Thwaites, whom I'd not heard of before this, but also David Stratham. I'm going to say his name is. He's
Okay.
if you're familiar with him, he's been on a ton of things. A really good actor. And basically, naturally, the movie is really about the reporter's crisis of faith. But here's the thing. When I first started watching it, I saw that it was the premise is a reporter is granted an interview by a man claiming to be God.
Okay.
And I said, "Oh, that actually sounds pretty interesting. Let's see where they go with that." And for most of the movie, I had no idea that it was, one of those straight up Christian movies. Because when the interviews happened, they take place in, a few different parts. It's a lot of, okay, so you say you're God, and this, yeah, of course I'm God. Questions are asked and answered, and the God character is elusive a little bit, not really forthcoming with direct answers. And then that day's interview would end, and it was like, we'll see where things go tomorrow. So the fact that it was very not, I'm going to hit you over the head with Christianity, because this character claiming to be God is just not doing the whole I'm preaching to you thing.
Yeah.
Right? It wasn't until the end where, spoilers, it does get a bit more of the I'm here to help you find your faith. The one way into heaven, da 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 da. And I was like, oh, so close. But it's a movie that did, oh, hey, it's those porn bots I was telling you about. They finally made their way to the WADcast.
All right, let's see. Let's. This is a hell of an Easter. Naked HD XYZ. Hey, I'm waiting on you. 18 plus stream. 18 plus stream. 18 plus stream. I am shocked and appalled that you think that we would watch these things and look at this while we are on this show. Okay.
That's
God.
terrible.
Seriously, man. Have some respect.
Camera, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah, let's do this afterwards. Like, come on.
And more.
Okay, blocked. Thank you. All right, go ahead. You were saying
the idea was, I thought, a very novel one until they decide to take a side and start hammering that point home. But just the fact that I got through most of the movie without realizing, oh, this is one of those movies, made me think, it's possible. It's possible to have a movie based on your faith and it not be bad.
Yeah.
And occasionally it happens. But for the most part, you are, for lack of a better term, absolutely preaching to the choir so hard that maybe even the filmmakers in this are becoming complacent.
Yeah.
And don't feel the need to put the effort in, or either that or it's a cash grab, and that's not very Christian-like, is it?
No, and see, and here's the thing. Here's my biggest issue with these movies. Again, like what you like, watch what you want to watch, and that's fine. Now, I enjoy having philosophical and theological discussions, political discussions. I enjoy them. If you can actually keep your cool and not get pissy with me, I enjoy having those conversations. But when, theological conversation turns into not just discussing. Like, I'd love to hear what made someone either follow religion or fall away from religion. Those are some fascinating conversations that you can have with somebody. But the second you're having these conversations, and this person is telling you how there's only one way to get into heaven. Well, who the hell told you that? A priest? Are you hearing voices in your head? Because that's actually a sign of mental illness. Like schizophrenia happens all the time. Like, schizophrenics are, ousted all the time. We had a schizophrenic at my old church. I was like asked to leave. Like, oh, well, okay. What if he was talking to God? But the thing is that with these conversations, like with these movies, you have to be ready to understand that the person that you are making this movie for, it should not be made to convert or to reel in like more followers of Christ. Of course, you want that.
These movies are doing that.
No. Actually, what it's doing is, I'm telling you flat out, it is getting anyone who is even remotely interested in the idea of possibly going to religion to be like, whoa, okay, guys, coming out. It's like going to a gym. You want to get like a gym membership, and they're trying to sell you everything under the sun. Like, that's what it's like to me. It's like you're trying to pound this into my head that I have to do this if I want to get into heaven. If you get like the more militaristic routes of theology, if you're gay, you're going to hell. Well, I beg to differ. I've seen movies. There's this one movie where it's like a guy was he was gay, and at the end of the movie, he was no longer gay because he trusted in his Lord, and he realized that he was living. He was walking. Let me see if I remember this. He was walking on the thin plank of an evil path. That pissed me off. Like, going along with like what you like, let's go with love who you love. Whatever you're like, whoever you're with is none of anyone else's business. And put it bluntly, I know plenty of people in the gay community who probably have a one-way ticket to heaven, whereas a lot of people that go to church that 1 hour a week on Sunday and host Bible youth groups and Bible studies and church youth groups, like whatever, I have a one-way ticket to hell. Holding a book with a cross on it doesn't make. There's nothing more evil than using religion as a shield to hide your own bullshit. Like, come on, man. But this movie
to batter other people with.
Oh yeah, or like you might as well get like be religious on a bat and beat someone half to death with in the head. It's like like a religious Negan from Walking Dead. But there's a lot of these movies. Like, my big problem with these movies is the fact that they are so goddamn preachy. Like, it's just so over the top. Like, follow us. We're the right religion. Well, what, bitches? There's other religions that are not. There are other religions in the world. There are other movies based on these other religions. I mentioned this to you earlier, Josh. There are religious movies in Bollywood talking about their own personal religions. Like, I mean, they're a dime a dozen. As we said before in the show, there's no original ideas anymore. If there are, it's few and far between. Religion is the most unoriginal idea you can come up with. A great movie that's really good, a series I liked that was based very closely on religion, The Matrix. I enjoyed them. And if you honestly do not think that Neo, if you're a person watching the show or listening to the show, and you think for a second that they did not base Neo off of Jesus Christ, watch the movies again. Especially how he died at the end of the third movie. I'll give you a hint. And then he all lit up and everything else. It's it's all a metaphor for religion. You have Morpheus, who is like the main prophet for Neo. He had his followers that believed in the One. Christ, he was called the One. His girlfriend's name was Trinity, for crying out loud. I mean, I almost said the F word. Caught myself.
Almost.
I caught myself. But Trinity, like, I mean, it's like the whole movie is like, and I liked it. And you have other movies again that are not so preachy. Even okay, I mentioned Dogma earlier, Josh. It's like, and I love Kevin Smith. Dogma had this one line at the end of it where we meet God in the form of Alanis Morissette. Okay, and you have Linda Fiorentino saying, "She's God's a woman," and you have Chris Rock that says, "She's not really anything." Like pretty much like God is who God chooses to be and what God chooses to be. But Selma Hayek had this one line, and this is where I started thinking more about my own religion. Selma Hayek has this great line in the movie. Says, everyone is so busy over what religion is right that they lose the whole ideal that it doesn't matter which religion is right. All that matters is that you have that faith. I love that line. Like, I loved it. It's like, just have faith and you're good. Just have that faith in God and you're good. Now, I don't really believe in God, but it's like, the thing is if you have that faith, you're great. That's what it comes down to. It's a movie that like pretty much preaches without preaching, I guess, best way to put it. It has a story. It has a beginning. It has like the rising action. The whole meat of the story. There's so many things going on. It's hysterical. Answers a question like, what if God was one of us? Like that kind of stuff. Like, I mean, God was locked in his body, his, her, whatever's body, after being attacked, left in a coma. And the whole thing was like Linda Fiorentino, like traveling with Jane, Silent Bob, and Rufus, the 13th, what do you call it? Apostle. Like, it was hysterical. Now, the whole movie, it was great. Like, I mean, and that shows like the angels. Like, you had Loki, and you had oh God, what was Ben Affleck's angel's name?
Barnabas.
That's it, Barnabas. Bartleby. That's it, Bartleby.
It's been a long time since I've seen it, since I can't find it any damn where to watch.
I have it on DVD, and it's on YouTube. I have like one of the DVDs from when it was still being sold in stores. But yeah, so it's like it's a movie that actually has like all these things going on, and when the angels turn human after they cut off their wings, they both immediately regret what they did. Like, I mean, it's just like all, like, I mean, the whole movie is just hysterical, but it's also got some moving moments in it. It's got, Linda Fiorentino, like, overacting the shit out of her role. But, and let's not forget the late and always fabulous Alan Rickman is in it. So.
George Carlin.
George
Blake.
Carlin. Yep. Yeah. Who gave us Buddy Christ. Yes. But I mean, that's the thing, though. It's like, it's one of those movies that didn't have to preach every 5 seconds.
That reminds me of the story that Kevin Smith tells about Muse. He's so intimidated by working with Rickman and forgetting his lines that he memorized the whole damn script.
Oh, Jason Mewes?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So every once in a while, you'll see him reciting lines. Other people's lines while they're just like.
I was gonna say, like, there's a few times where like they're saying something, he's lip syncing to it, right? Yeah.
That's a funny story.
But
it's not mine, so I can't tell it.
All right. Do we have any of the commentators that are not porno bots?
Yeah, if you're just a porn star, it's cool for you to commentate, just not a bot.
Yeah, Kira. I mean, it's like, well, now just go with your stage. Your stage name, Kira. If you're watching this show again, come on, comment. You've only ever commented one time to say hi. Like that's it. So if you're going heels to Jesus, religious weekend, then obviously don't worry. But still, yeah. That's all I got, man. I'm sorry, everyone. It's good to be back. I'm just out of it. I'm dealing with like a cold I've had for a couple days now.
Well,
So
talk about what I did this week, real quick, if you want.
Go for it.
All right, this past Wednesday night, some of you might recall that a while back, I had a role in a feature film called The Exchange, Henry Arnader's The Exchange. Those of you familiar with the show know Henry, as he's been a guest a couple times.
Yeah.
But Wednesday, we finally got the theatrical premiere.
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
We went to the movies and we saw ourselves making pretend on the screen. And as always, it's a blast. It's an experience to see yourself up there on the silver screens. I was on the same screen as, I saw Spider-Man, right? So it was definitely an experience to be had. And before the feature, The Exchange, was played, the short film Disunity, of which we've talked about here before, also played, and that one featured me in a more prominent role. And it was, again, same thing. It's an experience to see yourself up there on screen doing the acting thing. Honestly, I'm not a fan of watching my own performances, because I know I'm sitting there and I'm like, this is a load of crap. I know that son of a bitch is acting. And it takes me completely out of my yeah.
Oh my God.
But it's something. If you haven't had a chance to experience that, make that happen. Try to do it once in your life before you shuffle off this mortal coil, because it's an experience. My 13-year-old wanted to go and watch with me, and when my scene came on, they were like, "That's you, Dad," and I'm like, "Yeah, I know, right?"
Yeah.
So it was definitely fun. I enjoy both of the films, and two, again, the experience. It's a good one, especially when you're surrounded by a group of wonderful, supportive people, of which in the future we're going to have more of them on the show to talk about their experiences in the world of filmmaking and what they do and how they get by being creative.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to that. That'd be awesome.
But that was, and just an addendum to that, when I was talking with some of the people that were associated with the movie at the premiere, I straight up asked, "So when am I going to get you on the WADcast?" And then we talk about the show for a little bit. And as I walked away, I'm like, okay, I talked business. Guess what's getting written off tonight? Cha-ching.
There you go.
Business. That's how it works, right? Because I still don't know how this whole business thing's supposed to work.
Yeah, it's usually best to use like a business, like bank account, debit card, or a business credit card. That's how you write off business expenses most times.
Most times, but not exclusively.
Just saying. It's easier.
I mean, we have polos now.
Oh man,
That's got to count
Oh.
for something, right?
it does account for something. Yes.
We're looking sharp.
Oh my god.
I have a couple with your name on it, by the way.
Oh good. Sorry guys, I'm battling NyQuil here. I took the wrong. I thought I took Dayquil earlier. I took NyQuil, so I do apologize. That's why I'm yawning so much. Not that you're boring me, Josh, at all. Sorry, buddy. Yeah, no, it's I'm looking forward to get my polo. Can we close this just for real quick and just like say that Star Wars is a great movie about religion? And it's like, I guess you kind of could say it's like Christianity versus like Satanism, you know, Jedi versus the Sith. Yeah. They die, they come back as like little clear spirits that guide you through your troubles. I mean, come on, let's face it. Like the Jedi are like they're like intergalactic monks.
It wouldn't be the first time that I heard somebody get the picture of Obi-Wan confused with Jesus.
That's why I posted it earlier.
I actually had to pull somebody aside because a certain older family member of theirs posted the "I bet you're too scared to share this picture of Jesus," and it was Ewan McGregor, and I'm like, that's Obi-Wan Kenobi. You might want to let him know.
I don't ever warn anyone. I just let them go.
Well, when someone's elderly and they do it, it's like you want to get somebody that's close to them, and it's like, look, you can tell them, or you don't have to, but
Obi-Wan Kenobi was, but Obi-Wan Kenobi at one point was the galaxy's only hope.
No, there was always another.
No, at one point, he was someone's only hope. Princess Leia's only hope at first. Because at that point, Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia, they didn't know anything about their lineage.
Hence their make-out sesh.
Yep. But
and
either
Obi-Wan's like,
yeah. Either way, I think Josh, I think that's all the time I've got right now, man. I'm exhausted, buddy.
Yeah, I'm down for getting the final thoughts out there.
Go for it. BJacksman82 WADcast on Instagram. So you can find me. Yeah.
And the WADcast.com.
The WADcast.com, yeah, our website. So it's usually useful. Yeah, and the WADcast on Facebook, which is, you get it. Like just, it's cool.
And that one?
Yes.
Okay, so.
I'm going to mute my mic in case I keep coughing.
Well, here we are, once again, at the end of the show. Another good episode of the WADcast. But this is the point where I remind you that the only thing standing between you and your dreams is you. Whether or not you make the next great American film or write the next big novel or whatever the case may be, if there's something out there that you want to do creatively, there is nothing stopping you. I heard somebody say earlier this week, you have to greenlight yourself. Stop waiting for someone to do it for you. You can shoot a movie on your phone. If you have pencil and paper, you can write a script. If you want to act, well, the world is a stage. Nothing is standing in your way. All you have to do is do it. And hopefully one day, somebody will decide, I want to make a good faith-based movie. And until that comes out, we'll be waiting. In the meantime, have a good night. Have a good week. This has been the WADcast, episode number 86. I'm Josh. That guy's Brandon.
See you, everybody. Have a great weekend.
We will catch you next week.
Happy Easter, everybody. Have a great weekend.